Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna be ranking books I've read recently. So I recently, finally, I should be saying, read ACOTAR. I've been waiting to read ACOTAR for months now, and I put it off for so long because I wanted to read it at a good moment in my life when I was out of school, and I can actually dedicate time to reading the series and all of Sarah J. Maas's series, because I know they're just everything and I haven't read a single one. So I was not disappointed, but I think I have pretty interesting opinions. One of my closest friends, who was my roommate, loves ACOTAR. So she wrote up like all of her predictions for me, which book I would like the most, which characters I like the most, and we kind of compared each other's thoughts. And we have very different opinions. So first I think I'm going to do my ratings. So I'll go in order. So my rating for ACOTAR was 4 stars. I think that's appropriate. It's not the best book. I wrote here my main pro was it's a great introduction to the world. I don't give a shit about Tamlin. He was boring. Even in this book, obviously I knew the gist of ACOTAR. I knew she wasn't going to end up with Tamlin. I knew I was waiting for Rhysand to come into the picture. And I mean, I was so excited to meet him, but Tamlin just didn't do it in any way. So I wish there was a bit more of a challenge there, and he was actually kind of in competition for Feyre's love, but he fucking sucked. But I really enjoyed getting to know Feyre. She's grown a lot since book 1. And I think the best chapters were the Under the Mountain chapters. I think those were just the most interesting. The rest of it, like at the Spring Court, I was like, okay, let's fucking get on with it, you know what I mean? So I rated it 4 stars. Next, the bone of the entire ACOTAR series, ACOMAF. It's so many people's #1 book. I'm not gonna tell you which book it is in my ranking yet. I'll wait for later. But it's so crucial to the series. It's such a pivotal point. Book 2, in my opinion, in almost every fantasy like trilogy or series in general, is the growth period. Like, this is when Rhysand and Feyre grow to become one. They grow their connection. The second I finished ACOTAR at like 8 p.m. at night, and then literally like 8:05 I'm like reading ACOMAF. And this definitely is a book I would reread like every year, because it's just like following their journey. It's just so fun and nice, romantic. Obviously chapter 54 and 55, no duh. But one thing I do wish ACOMAF had more of was the jealousy trope. Like, there was that one scene at the summer court with Tarquin, and I thought that was so interesting, and I wish we saw more of that side. Feyre kind of being in this like contemplation, because that's when she really starts acknowledging that what she has with Rhysand is changing. It's something else. She keeps calling herself a traitor, which, come on girl, like, you're not a traitor, you're just moving on. So yeah, I rated this 4.75 stars. I think that's a good rating. It's hard to make a 5-star book. But speaking of which, this is a 5-star book. ACOWAR is a 5-fucking-star book. Anytime a series gets into the war and the politics and things are just crashing, that's usually my favorite fucking book. Like, Fourth Wing is one of my favorite series for a reason. I fucking eat up the war. Which I don't know what this is about me. Probably not something good. There was just so many moments where you're just like, no. What? No, what? It was just too good. Like, those last like 100 pages, obviously, like, fucking good. I read this, I think, in like a day and a half. Like, all I was doing was reading this. The High Lord meeting, the meeting with all the High Lords, that was one of the best scenes in that book. That's just, I love that. I love seeing them all in one place, because we also haven't really heard much about half of the High Lords. We didn't know like any of their characters, and it was just good to know where they all stand and to be able to formulate opinions on them. Honestly, I wish less people hated on ACOFAS. It's, yes, a Hallmark novella, but I will still be reading this every December. Like, I loved the wholesome vibes. It felt a bit pointless. Like, after finishing Arc War, my brain was like, what the fuck? Because you basically just finished, it felt like when you finished Arc War, you were finishing a series because it was the third, and it really closed off those first 3 books. And this is just a bridge to the next books. So finishing Arc War put me in like low-key like a reading slump, because I was just like, I'm never gonna be here again. Like, because I knew the next books would be different. I'm never gonna be in Feyre's POV again. And I was just fucking sad. I was sad about that. So for a second, I put off reading this for like half a day, because I just, one, didn't want it to end, kind of, and 2, this didn't feel super necessary. I was like, okay, but like that was like closing the chapter. So what is this? Yeah, it's like the bridge, but like also closing the chapter. So of Faye's Hand. So, but anyway, I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed being in Valaris one more time, because in Silver Flames we don't explore Valaris. We're not in that kind of world building. We're truly focusing on these character dynamics and the character growth. So being in Valaris and really appreciating it and like strolling through it, I really enjoyed. So I would definitely be reading this every December. And I also just love this cover. Like, I hate half the covers, low-key. I'm not a fan of bright colors. I don't know if you can tell. So I actually contemplated getting the Nightcore editions, but they are also just so like basic. I didn't really want those. And this is like, when you see someone has these on their shelf, you're like, okay, I see. I can see those fucking bright neon books in the background. Like, I understand you now. Okay. I need to gather my thoughts very well for this one. Okay. I rated this 4.5 stars. This is my friend Allison's favorite book in the series. Her favorite character is Nesta. And I can understand that. For a second, well, I'm not gonna tell you my ranking yet, but if you couldn't have guessed it yet. But I just had to sit with this book for a second. I really enjoyed it. I was thrown off guard when it came to the third person and how we're seeing Nesta and Cassian's perspective. I had to adjust to that. But also, a lot of the characters, the other, like the inner circle characters, felt different in this book. And I don't mean different because now we're seeing it from how Nesta sees them, but just out of character. Like, the actions Rhysand and the other characters made in the other books, they felt wise. They felt like they made sense. And sometimes they didn't make sense. I could pinpoint, like, oh yeah, they're like that. That's why they made that stupid decision. But in this book, I feel like everyone was being selfish and self-centered. The inner circle just didn't feel like the inner circle I knew and loved. So I was upset about that, to be fair. I was like, every time I read about the inner circle, I was like, okay, I hate these people. But I read like 4 other books with these people and I love them. And now when I finish the series, the last thought I have of them is I hate them, or they're annoying, when I don't want to finish a series thinking about them that way. But anyway, moving on from that aspect, which I didn't enjoy, I really, really, really love Nesta and Cassian. And I want to say, I understand people who don't like Nesta. I think from book 1, she was not a character meant to be liked. But if you hate Nesta by the last few pages of this book, if you still hate her, or you finish this book hating her, I would assume you're a very close-minded person who hasn't gone through much in life, and you're probably the youngest sibling. She's someone who's gone through a lot, and she's ridden and driven by guilt and anger, and I can really feel for her in that sense. I know what that feels like, but she recognized the harm she was inflicting upon herself and others, and she changed for herself and others. It was a personal journey, like, it was growth, and I support her for that, and I like uplift her for that. This was a book for the girls who have struggled, who were done wrong, and the aftermath of those situations. They're very emotionally complex characters. And I fucking love Gwen. Gwen has got to be one of my favorite characters in the whole series. I am a Feyre enthusiast, I will say. I love Feyre. She's not me. I don't resonate with her exactly, but I love her. I support her. I support Nesta. I fucking love Gwen. And I will say, if Azriel is gonna be with anyone, it better be Gwen. Let me get into that. Let me fucking get into that. Okay, so potentially book 6. It's Azriel, it's Gwen, it's Azriel, it's Elaine. Everyone's saying the next book will be about Elaine because it's following the sisters. I personally don't think the next book is gonna be about Elaine or focused on Elaine because she grew no prominence in the last book. Usually a character would grow some kind of prominence so the audience can get some sort of interest in them, and then you would give them their own book. But Elaine wasn't even in Silver Flames that much, and I didn't give a shit about her. I still don't give a shit about her. So I'd rather not get a book about her. I'm down with Gwen and Azriel. I think Azriel needs to grow and figure his own shit out before he gets into a relationship, and I think Moore needs to have a fucking conversation with him for him to be able to move on from her. Cause come on, Moore, I love you, girl, but like, you're dragging my boy through the mud. Azriel bonus chapter. I was very taken aback when I read this because we've never been in Azriel's mind. His inner monologue and his conversation with Reese was very like, what is going on? I will say, reading that chapter and how Reese was talking to Azriel, I was like, yo, why is my man doing that? Like, what's going on? But then I read a bit between the lines. I was like, okay, let me pick up what Sarah was trying to put down. Reese, technically, he was in the right for defending Elaine in such a way because Azriel sees her as a fantasy. He didn't say that he loves her, that he wants to be with her, that he wants to get to know her. It was, I want to fuck her. I want to eat her up. And that's not cool because it's just gonna break her heart, maybe break his heart. I don't know. It's just gonna, and then it's just gonna Lucian, like, it's just a mess. It's a situation we don't need to be in for the lust. Like, the lust is not worth the mess it will create, you know? Hearing his inner dialogue, I was like, yo, is this who my man is? Like, you know, like, we're reading the other books about Azriel. I'm like, hey, like, I'm eating him up. Like, yes, blue siphon boy, like, bad boy. But then reading his, like, inner monologue, I was like, damn, this is who you are? You're showing me your true colors right now? Not, like, bad, but just interesting. Because you feel like you know him, but you literally don't. Literally don't. Okay, I wrote a little bit about what I think about Sarah J. Maas's writing so far. I plan to read her other series, but so far, I don't love her imagery and descriptive language. I think it falls a bit flat. And every time she was describing a place, I would find myself skimming over the words and kind of just like not even taking them in, just like reading, which sucks because this is literally a fucking fantasy series. The whole point is to be in a interesting, fun, new, whimsical world. But she does create very interesting, complex characters and character dynamics, and she knows how to write a good fucking backstory. I will say that. They all come from something different and unique, and they're real people who face real problems, real struggles. Obviously dramatized struggles, but I think everyone can find someone in this series to resonate with in some way. I plan to read Throne of Glass soon. I assumed that when I read ACOTAR, I could finally like watch all the memes and be in on the inside jokes, but because they're all in the same like universe, all of Sarah J. Maas's series, but not in the same world, but in the same like universe, they fucking connect, and I didn't know that till recently. So I have all these spoilers and theories connecting characters in each series, and I'm like, yo, I need to get all this stuff out of my mind, so when I read everything myself, I can not be spoiled, I can create my own theories. Safe to say is I have not been able to divulge in theories, but I will eventually. I want to read Throne of Glass. I mean, I know Throne of Glass is gonna break me. If after ACOTAR, I was that fucking broken and sad and like empty, like finishing a series is like a whole different type of pain. I don't think anyone will understand unless you're a reader. and like an obsessive reader. I want to read Throne of Glass a bit deeper into the summer when I can actually balance it between like doing summer activities like going to the beach, going to the pool. I'll be working more like in late June, July. I don't want to wait that long to read it. I kind of want to read it now, but I know it's going to break me, and it's 8 books. So I need to have some balance with it, or else I'm just going to be too in it, and then the book slump will be fucking insane afterwards. Anyway, that's my ACOTAR. Oh my god! I didn't rank the books for you guys. Okay. 1, ACOTAR. Obviously, best book in the fucking series. 2, I had 2 was tied between ACOMAF and ACO Silver Flames. ACOSIF. But after I settled and like sat on Silver Flames for a while, and I really thought about it, I just didn't like how the inner circle was perceived. I didn't love, also I forgot to mention, I didn't love the pregnancy like scandal. I don't think Reese would have, I don't know, like how Reese handled it didn't feel like how he would have handled it in like ACOWAR per se. And Farah, I mean, I assume Farah like really went in on him for holding back the information. We didn't see that side of it, so I don't know if she truly did. I like to assume so because that's who her character is, and she, you know, draws these lines with Rhysand. ACOWAR, ACOMAF, ACO Silver Flames, ACOFAS. I know a lot of people put it last, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was just nice. It was fun. I love being in Valaris. Love the winter vibes. And then I put ACOTAR last because fuck Tamlin. It didn't have my favorite characters in it. It was the introduction, so I put it last. She'll obviously always have a place in my heart, but she's still last. The book I read before I read ACOTAR was The Bridge Kingdom, and I DNF'd it. I wanted to add it into this video because it was what I read recently, so I wanted to just give my thoughts on it. 2 pages in, I was into it. I was like, oh, what's going on? There's these sisters, like this is dramatic as fuck. Like, I want to learn more about this. I was so into it, literally 2 pages in. But the characters just lacked depth, in my opinion. So I'm reading it, I got this far, and I'm like, wait, I mean, I'm not gonna give total spoilers for this one because I want people obviously to have their own opinion on this. So I'm gonna be vague with it, but there's something that might happen. And I got to this point and I was like, wait, is this gonna happen? I'm going Goodreads and I'm looking at reviews and I fucking spoil myself intentionally because I'm like, there's no way that this is gonna happen. Because if this happens, I don't want to keep reading. Because why does that happen? And it fucking happens. It was just, I feel like the plot could have been so much more interesting and it could have taken a different turn. The plot could have went in a different direction, which could have been really interesting and more complex. And then the guy, oh my god, what's his name? Maybe it's back here. Aaron, is that his name? Aaron? King Aaron. I would say King Aaron. Aaron. Aaron? I think I said Aaron. Is that him? Yeah, Aaron. Fuck, what did I say? Aaron or Aaron? I really enjoyed the world. I think it was interesting. I think we could have learned more about it. I couldn't really imagine it. Like the whole like bridge and like what the land looked like and the islands and shit. But I was super intrigued. And the cover is so pretty. Why did you have to be bad? I mean, it wasn't bad. I think I didn't finish it, so I really shouldn't say it was bad. But anyway, that's that. That's what I read recently. It was essentially ACOTAR. So when I read Throne of Glass, I wonder if I'll do a kind of video on that because that series is just like everything to everyone. There's so many people I know who it's their favorite series ever. And I'm probably gonna become one of those people just from what I've gathered. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you next time.